We're going to cut taxes for the middle class, make the tax code simpler and more fair for everyday Americans, and we are going to bring back the jobs and wealth that have left our country. Our framework will stop punishing companies for keeping their headquarters in the United States. We will impose a one-time low tax on returning money that is already offshore so that it can be brought back home to America where it belongs.
The president in Indianapolis selling the GOP tax cut plan just moments ago. It's a simplification plan as well, but will Republicans stand more united around this plan than they were around repealing Obamacare? Here now is Congressman Buddy Carter, Republican congressman from Georgia. So, Congressman, it feels a little different than Obamacare. I mean, Obamacare reform, frankly, had so many different plans. This seems to be a more unified plan, unified by Senate, Congress, and the executive, no?
No question about it. I think we learned some important lessons through health care, and I think we put those lessons to work in tax reform now. I tell you, I haven't seen the conference as energized as they were today. I've never seen them that energized, so I was very, very excited about that. I'm very excited about what's happening with tax reform.
Now, we do already have a couple of dissenters among the Republican caucus. Two Republican congresspeople, Claudia Tenney and Dan Donovan, both from New York, not coincidentally, object to not being able to deduct state and local taxes, which are very high in New York and other states, from the federal tax code. Do you think that's a breaker? That's a deal breaker?
You know, I don't know that it's a deal breaker. We talked about that. We knew this was going to be a concern. We knew that some of the states like New York, New Jersey, California, that if we took away the tax break for property taxes that are so high in those areas, that it could be a problem for them. I understand that all politics is local and understand that they've got to vote their conscience, but I think overall the reception to the tax plan was overwhelming within our conference.
All right. There is also this proviso about the top earners, and it says an additional top rate may apply to the highest income taxpayers to ensure that the reform tax code is at least as progressive as the existing tax code. Now, Art Laffer didn't like that language. He thinks the existing tax code is too progressive. What amount are we talking about? Who is going to get this wealth tax? Somebody making more than $1 million or what?
Well, those parameters have not been set yet. We have not set the financial parameters by which the three tax brackets will apply to. You know, we've got 12%, 25%, and 35%. There is a possibility that there may be a fourth added on. But again, we haven't set the financial parameters of which they would fit into those four.
Well, I'm sure the Democrats will love that, by the way, and you're going to hear a lot from them on that. But Senator Thune, Republican Senator Thune, at the conference where the plan was unraveled today, said the following about Democrats perhaps joining Republicans in tax reform. Take a listen.
I hope that there will be some Democrats who are willing to work with us, because this is what they say they're for. If they're really for middle-income tax relief, why wouldn't they join hands with us and make it a possibility for the American people?
Now, there are something called blue dog Democrats. You don't see as many of them as you used to. A lot of them from around your neck of the woods down south. Here's what they said. This year, the national debt surpassed $20 trillion for the first time in U.S. history. We cannot afford to add more debt to our nation's credit card. Presumably, the finish of that sentence is by cutting taxes. But to hear Democrats complain about the debt is really something, isn't it?
It is something, and I'll have to tell you, it's ironic. I agree with you. But they're missing the point here, because this tax reform, first of all, it is aimed at the middle-income families and the middle-income earners. That's exactly who this is for. It's going to put more money in their pocket, which is going to put more money into our economy, which is going to have a ripple effect all through our economy. I, too, am very concerned about our national debt. I've always said we've got to do three things. First of all, we've got to cut spending. Secondly, we've got to have entitlement reform. And thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, we've got to grow our way out of it. We've got to get out of this anemic 1 and 1.5% growth rate and get up into 3 and 4 and 5% growth rate. That way we can do something about the national debt.
Okay, Congressman, we got to go, but your percentage of the chances of passing this bill before the end of the year?
I'm very, very confident.
80%, 90%?
80, 90% would be accurate.
Buddy Carter, good to see you. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you.